Hello, my guys. Welcome back. Welcome back, my people, to the Football Corner. Welcome back to another live stream, another live show, another video on the channel. And today, firstly, big up to Shah, always in the building, nice and early. Big up to yourself, my bro, Ski. And yeah, listen, we're gonna get into the match reaction for yesterday's game. Yesterday's game against Sevilla, where we showed some sort of composure and showed the willingness to get the win, get over the line, just jump over that final hurdle. And yeah, we're going to get into it today. We're going to get into it. We're going to speak about the game. We're going to speak about certain players in the game and just our overall thoughts. And I'm saying because if you see my Twitter, you already know the one person that's going to be here with me doing these live reactions, doing these match reactions. It's always the same guy. He's back again. I think, what is this, like 3-4 videos in a row? Listen, let's get him on, man. It's none other than Mr. Ashraf Hakimi. Let's get him on.
Yo, big up everyone.
Big up.
How you doing, my brother?
Alhamdulillah, bro. Alhamdulillah. I can't complain, man. I can't complain. It's good to see 3 points. Finally.
Yeah, definitely,
Finally.
especially in Europe. Alhamdulillah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, man. It's massive. It's massive for us, man. But I think where we should start or where we should begin is on your overall thoughts on the game, because we're gonna dissect it. We're gonna get into it. There's definitely a lot to discuss, man. But what are your overall thoughts on the win, man? Are you feeling after it, man?
Yeah, I mean, looking back at it, obviously, and given the how the game went, like if you just try to quickly summarize it, I think it's a very, very good result. Like, I mean, I know obviously the first half was very poor in my opinion up until that Martinelli goal, obviously, which came towards the very end. But I saw a record, man, in Spain away from home, and that was like, it's abysmal. Like, we beat Valencia, I think, a couple of years ago, if I remember, 4-2, when Aubameyang went on a mad one. But outside that, like, our results are terrible away from Spain. Like, we've either drawn or lost. But the last time we won there outside the Valencia game was the Real Madrid game in '06 that Henry won.
Fabregas
So yeah,
assist.
Fabregas, yeah, and Ronaldo R9 chasing our Henry. I remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, last time we played Sevilla in the Champions League, we lost away from home 3-1. I remember we thrashed them 3-0 at home, but obviously away from home it was a big struggle. So look, with all that being said, it shows it's a huge result, bro. It's a huge result. We've seen United get smashed there, and I'm talking about United of last season, not the shit United of this year. Like, we've seen, like, obviously Sevilla known as the Europa League champions, and I know it's not the Europa League, but they're still a big team with, like, big players. If I had to dissect the game quickly, for me, like, I get very annoyed seeing how little we create, like, in terms of big chances. And it's not necessarily about yesterday's game only, because if you're looking at only yesterday's game in isolation, it doesn't matter if we created chances or not. Because for me, the 3 points is all that matters. It's Champions League. Every away game is difficult. Even home game is difficult, but away games even more so. So in isolation, amazing result, amazing defensive performance. Yeah, it's shitty to concede from the corner like that, but overall I think we've done really well to nullify them to very few chances. But if I look at it like in culmination with what's been happening throughout the season, it's another game where we struggle to create chances. And I know we're going to speak about him later, so I'm just going to mention his name now, but Odegaard, bruh, needs to step up big.
Yeah, we 100% we're gonna speak about him, and I think for me it's more important that we got the 3 points in the end.
Yeah.
Because listen, at the end of the day, this is a scrap. That's what the Champions League is. It's a scrap. You have to get 3 points. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter how the fuck you play on the day. As long as you leave with those 3 points, that's all that matters at the end. So the fact that we were able to go away to Sevilla, which, let's face it, because listen, Shah said it here, bro, Real Madrid couldn't even beat them. Real Madrid could not even beat them. So You know, listen, this is massive
Yeah,
for
but
us, man.
calm
It's
down, Shaw,
massive.
with winning the Champions League thing.
Yeah, we're
Calm
winning the
down,
Champions
one
League.
game at a time, bro.
I had to not read that one because then I start to sit there and think about I start to think about the game against Barcelona, man. And it starts to get all a bit upsetting, man. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just looking. I big up Ozan, my Roski. What you saying, man? What you saying? Um, I think for me, just looking at the game overall, I think at times, I fully agree with what you said about not creating chances, but just we showed a lot. We played very well defensively. Defensively, you know what I mean.
Hmm.
So for us to be, but I think overall, most of the season we've been very good defensively.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm just looking at it. If we can play like that away from home every time and try and take the chances when they come, yes, that'd be great. But for us to not create big chances, that's definitely a big problem. Definitely a
Hmm.
big problem because we need to be creating chances. We need to make sure we're getting our chances, or we're making chances from the left, the right. You know what I mean? Erdegaard needs to start getting involved. He start making chances, and we really need to. Because at the end of the day, let's say for instance that game was 0-0 until and and let's say for instance when Sevilla started doing their whole thing uh in the second half where they started getting control and just firing at us
Crossing it in.
non-stop.
Hmm.
What happens if it's 0-0 at that point? I think one of them goals goes in. So
Probably.
and that comes from us not creating our chances, not creating big enough chances, and not taking the chances. Because yes, Gabriel Martinelli scored, but he also missed chances at the start of the game. Yeah,
Hmm.
he missed two chances. I think that Gabriel Jesus gave him both of them. I think he passed them over to him and he missed them. There was even that one where it was 1-on-1, and I think Saka was
The
one
first
on
one,
one.
yeah.
Saka was 1-on-1 as well, wasn't he?
I don't
And
think
then
he was 1-1, but I think he had a good run from the right and he was open, but he just messed it up. But yeah, like it was a bit shaky at the start.
But that's a whole nother thing, man. That's the main argument I have with Arsenal
Hmm.
is the chances we do create, we do not take them. We don't take them. We're not clinical enough in front of goal to take our chances every time they come. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I think we really need to improve on that. To be honest.
Yeah. And that's the thing, sad. Like, if you look at like the stats, maybe from the Premier League side, not including the Champions League, I think if you look at teams that are outperforming their XG, we're one of them. Like we're there. So I think a lot of other teams get these chances in front of goal and they miss. Like I also had United's game running in the tab yesterday, so I was keeping an eye on that game as well. And they had like 3, 4 sitters in front of goal that they missed. So a lot of other teams also get these chances. I think for us, the fact that we are 15th in the league currently for big chances created, as per the Premier League website, is a huge, huge concern because um, in the long run, I don't see this being sustainable. Now, with that being said, I do want to preface this by saying that I'd rather we start like this and then eventually improve and be able to last till the end of the season versus start how we started last season and die off in the end, right? But that means Arteta needs to figure his shit out quick, bro, because we're already at like what, 9 Premier League games, right? So we have another like what, 4 more, and we're already at 1/3 of the Premier League. So games just come in quick, bro. Like it's not 1/4, sorry, not 1/3. So yeah, like I think he needs to figure things out quickly. We just need to figure
Yeah.
out what's missing to create chances, and it cannot just be the Partey miss, because I understand Partey is a very, very important player for the way we set up, for the way we start from the back, for the way we carry the ball forward and get it to Odegaard in dangerous spaces. But we have to have a backup plan for when he's not there. And the annoying thing is, I think Arteta has done a lot of work in the first 3, 4 games, if you remember, when he was tinkering, playing Thomas Partey right back, playing Kai Havertz in the middle. He was trying to create a lot of these plan B scenarios, and none of them seem to work right now. Like right now, when I think about it, we have our plan A, which is our full lineup there. Partey in the 6, hopefully Rice in the 8, and all that stuff. We still don't have a plan B. Because if Partey or Rice get injured, I don't know who actually fits in that role well. But yeah, man, look, in the end, as you mentioned, I think the 3 points is what matters right now. Martinelli
Yeah,
with his debut goal, just like Saka. So it's good to see our star
it's
boys are getting their
crazy.
debut goals, yeah, which
It's
is
crazy how
mad.
many because Gabriel Jesus has actually scored goals in his debut in the Premier League, the League
Yeah.
Cup, the Europa League, and the Champions League, man.
Champions
So
League too.
it's crazy. That's actually crazy. But
Yeah.
you know what? Let's just get to the elephant in the room, Erdegaard, because Shah. I'm just gonna start with his comments here because he said, when Erdegaard plays good, we play good. PSV and Bournemouth show that. Those were the only great performances, and Erdegaard was great in all of them. When Erdegaard is back, we'll start playing our majestic football, I think. I can agree
Yeah,
with
but
that.
partially I don't fully agree with it because you could also flip it around and say he showed up in those games because they were easier games. I think Bournemouth is the easiest game we've
Oh, you
played
know
so
what?
far,
Yeah.
and it's not just Odegaard who played well that game. Like our entire team was amazing, and PSV same thing. Like Trossard killed it at PSV, Jesus
Oh
killed it
my
against
god.
PSV. Saka was mental; he had a goal and like an assist or a goal and 2 assists. So I think those games, because of the nature of the teams we face, it allowed Odegaard to shine a lot more because he was able to get the ball in big spaces. But when you look at teams that
Salam, bro.
press us like mad and close us down quickly and don't give him that kind of space, especially when he doesn't have someone like Partey behind him to like get the ball from the defenders and release it to Odegaard in good positions, he struggles, man. He struggles and he needs to adapt his game for like when these kind of teams. Because look, Chelsea and the cities and all, they're not the last team that's going to press us this season. We're going to have a lot of teams that are going to close us down that way, especially knowing that we're title challengers. A lot of teams are going to take us a lot more seriously, and they know Odegaard is one of our key players in creating those chances. So they're going to close him down, and if he doesn't adapt his game quickly, it's going to be a big problem for him and for us.
Yeah, and I think with Erdegaard, yeah, the main thing for me with Erdegaard is when he's, because I said this in the terrace yesterday. All I want from him is to ask for the ball. Just
Yeah.
just be more involved. Be more involved. Just try and get involved in the game. You know? Don't hide. Because a lot of times he hides in these games. Like he doesn't look like he wants the ball. He doesn't look like he's ready to receive it. Pause. All he does is just sit there pressing by himself at times. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, pressing is great. Pressing is brilliant. But you also have to be doing coordinated presses. So you have to
Yeah.
make sure that your teammates are pressing with you, and you need to be able to press yourself. You know what I mean? And you need to be able to receive the ball as well. You need to be ready to receive the ball when you're in a good position. And for me, he just doesn't look like he's really getting into the games. But of course, we're not gonna throw our toys out the pram. We're not gonna fully go, oh my god, he's the worst ever, because we know that there's a player in there. I've seen that player. I saw him last season. This guy was magical, bro. I was performing miracles. So I know there's a player in there. I know that Erdegaard is in there. He's just waiting to be released. So yeah, that's definitely one of the talking points which I wanted to get to first. This is I don't know if you wanted to say anything else about Odegaard, because I'm gonna move on to a mad one here, man. The clanger, bro, it's crazy.
Yeah, I know which one you're moving to, but just before that, look, the last thing I'd say is I fully agree with you, because I said it yesterday as well. Like he just needs to in these kind of games when you find yourself struggling, and every time you get the ball, you have people on you, and you're just losing it in tight areas. Do something to change your game and get more confidence, right? And one of the simplest things you can do is just drop back, receive the ball in that open space from the center backs, and try to carry it. Because the more touches you get on the ball as a playmaker, the more you're growing in confidence. I'm going to use like the greatest player of all time as an example. a lot of times Messi finds himself in these. Obviously, like it's very difficult to compare Messi with any footballer ever, but there'll be certain games when Messi drops so deep to get the ball when he's not getting it enough, right? Just so he can get in the game. And I don't know. I remember Danny Alves once said this, that sometimes he'll just make sure he passes the ball to Messi just to keep him like alive in the game, just to make sure he's getting those. Because the more times he touches the football on the pitch, the more turned on he is mentally and the more he's ready. And obviously, Odegaard is far, far, far from being close to Messi, but the logic still applies. If you're in a position as a playmaker where you're struggling to play under pressure and you're not getting the ball in good spaces where you can create things, maybe change a little bit, drop deep, receive the ball in open spaces, just so you can get more touch of the ball, and that, in my opinion, will give him more confidence to play in certain positions. Because he's a confidence player too. Like a lot of the things he did last season, when he would get out of his tight spaces and stuff, it's like instinct, right? Like because he's such a top elite footballer, a lot of the things he does are based on instinct. And right now, I think his instinct is letting him down with some of his decisions. And we've seen it when he rushes these passes, when he knows he can just hold the ball, wait for the right moment, and change the side or something. And his instinct is letting him down. And for him to get that back, I think, as you mentioned, like he needs to get a lot more touches on the ball.
Yeah, and you know, just moving on quickly.
I know where this is going.
Because Super Spurs brought up a really good point here. A really good point. Man said, wait, if Odegaard is the elephant in the room, David Raya must be the rhinoceros. I don't know.
Well,
what
technically,
to say
an
about
elephant is
David
bigger
Raya,
than
man.
a rhinoceros, bro.
Yeah, that's true. He must be the dinosaur in the room, man. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Bro, I feel like with David Raya, there's just, I think that's a conversation to be had in itself.
Yeah.
And where I want to start with David Raya is that stupid decision he made to punch that ball.
Yeah.
And it nearly went in the back of our own net. It nearly went in the back. He should class himself lucky that it did not go in the back of the net.
Yeah.
Because even yesterday he was looking shaky at times. Even yesterday. And Arteta's just played him. So right now we're assuming that Ramsdale clearly is not in the plans. He must not be. He must not be. If he can't even get a game after a player's making 3 or 4 mistakes, and this is in 3 different games, then what is Ramsdale to do? Honestly.
Yeah.
What is he to do to try and get a game, to try and get an opportunity to play? Do you know what I mean? But listen, at the end of the day, it wasn't good enough from him. His distribution was below par. His his decision making. There was a couple of times where he came out and received or grabbed onto the ball from like crosses and stuff. Yeah, okay, that's great. But when you need to distribute it, where are you gonna distribute it to? And even stuff like that, the punch that he did, that's something that Ramsdale, pardon me, that's something that Ramsdale done last season, and he'd get slated for it. So why are we not keeping the same energy for David Raya? Like, is it because he's Mikel Arteta's favorite guy? Is he because he was Mikel Arteta's #1 target? Like, bro, what are we doing here? I keep it respectful and I keep it 100% about all of my players. Even though I like David Raya and he was looking good, bro, when he first came into the club. Don't get it twisted, bro. I'm not about this new toy shit. Like when fans have a brand new toy and they're just like, oh yeah, let's play him. If you play and you play good, you stay in the team. If you start fucking up, bro, you're out of there quick. I don't want to see that, because Ramsdale could be there and we know that he's very good at making saves as well. Yeah, that's technically they'd call Ramsdale like a what do they call it? Like a camera or screenshot.
Yeah. It's a camera save. Yeah. It's one for the cameras.
Save. Yeah. He loves his camera saves. But for me, like at the end of the day, Raya has to do better. He has to do better. If not, please, the bench is that way. Let Ramsdale come in. Do you know what I mean? What are
I
your
don't
thoughts
think
anyway?
I don't think he has to do better. I think he has to go to the bench already. Like I think he should have already been on the bench. I think he's already done enough. I don't want to say damage. I feel like that's slightly harsh, but I think he's done enough to warrant sitting on the bench next game, right? I think he should have been on the bench last game. Regarding that punch, look, obviously it was horrendous. I don't fault him for coming out and trying to punch it because I think that decision was correct. Because if he didn't, I think Ramos was there to finish at the end. But so the decision to come out and punch is fine, but then if you're coming out, you need to punch it correctly, right? Because you cannot afford as a goalkeeper to come out of your line to try and collect a ball or punch a ball and not get it fully correct, right? Because if you get it half wrong, it's done. And yesterday it almost cost us, obviously. And look, it's been like what I've said last time. It was 3 games. Now it's 4 games if you include this game yesterday, where he's not necessarily, he didn't cost us yesterday, but he was obviously quite shaky in some moments with his passing, and that's the funny part, right? Like the whole thing about Raya was that he's supposed to be a better keeper than Ramsdale in terms of distribution. That was the number one thing. I don't think anyone thought Raya coming in ahead of Ramsdale was because he's going to be a better shot stopper. Because in terms of shot stopping, I think they're very similar. I think Ramsdale has pulled better saves, in my opinion, from what I've seen. Obviously, it's too small of a sample size for Raya with us. But even if I look at him with Brentford, I don't remember him having some mental like saves the way Ramsdale did. And if you talk about his distribution, which is supposed to be his main asset, we haven't seen that yet. I honestly haven't seen any of the games he's played. I haven't seen him give any of these insane long balls that he's known for. That I would be like, oh, no other keeper can do this. So I don't know, man. For me, as I said, and I've said this yesterday, I think in your stream, and I'm saying it again. If we end up losing Ramsdale in this summer or sorry, in this winter or the next summer window, for Raya to be our main keeper, I'll be so damn pissed, bro. I'll be fuming because I have no issue selling Ramsdale. I'll sell any Arsenal player if there's a massive upgrade that we're getting. Like I love Martinelli. But if you tell me right now I can get Mbappe and start him ahead of Martinelli, I'll do that in a heartbeat. Because in the end, for me, what we do for Arsenal is what matters, right? Obviously, the wages and all would be mental, so assuming that the wages can be managed. But with Raya, I have no issues letting go of Ramsdale. But if it's for Raya, I don't think that's an upgrade, man. I think that's a massive. I think that's a massive downgrade, actually. I'll say that. Because in the long run, I can see Ramsdale being the loyal, faithful keeper to Arsenal, who would be with us for the next 10 years, right? And would probably just keep on improving. Because the guy is, 23, 24. We have to keep remembering that. Like, a lot of keepers peak at 30. So he's like 6, 7 years away from his peak. So imagine, like, and we're sitting there and criticizing him like he's some bum out there who's been making mistakes after mistakes. Like, last season, if it wasn't for him, I don't think we challenged the way we did. So yeah, man, I think he's being treated extremely harsh, and I'm hoping the Sheffield game, Arteta will have the, as Troy Deeney says, cojones to make the right decision and just drop the guy that needs to be dropped and start Ramsdale.
And you know what? Super Spurs said here. He said with Ramsdale saying he's not in a good place mentally since being dropped. Do you think it would be good to put him back in now? I'll probably put that question to you, bro. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the reason I think he's not in a good place is because obviously, look, competition is good, as we've mentioned, maybe not for keepers as much, because the biggest teams don't do it for keepers. Barca tried it with Stegen and Bravo, and then one season, like literally it was just one season, and after that, Bravo's like, yo, I'm out of here, right? So Peter Cech and Courtois, same thing, and Peter Cech obviously left and came to Arsenal. So we know that kind of competition with keepers is not sustainable, right? I think the reason he's probably down is because I think last 2 seasons, he's probably like, he thought that he set his place, it's his position to lose, and he's never going to have competition there. He probably looked at the fact that he replaced Leno, and Matt Turner, who came in, was always going to be a bench player after him. And we had Runnerson as well, obviously, who was always going to be like behind Ramsdale. So I think the fact that he's now seen that a keeper has come in and done to Ramsdale what Ramsdale did to Leno, it's obviously probably affected him, because he's probably thinking there's no way for me to come back. So I think if we start him next game, he's probably thinking, he might think that, you know what, I think I can win my position back. And hey, again, I'm just going based on what Arteta's words were. Like, it's competition and nobody's safe. So if Ramsdale starts the next game against Sheffield and has a good game, there's zero reason why he should be dropped. Zero. Right? And I don't know. I feel like starting him would still be better. I would get him out of that funk. Unless Super Spurs is trying to say that maybe because of the thing with his wife, because I remember he said he was not in the right place because of the miscarriage and stuff, but I don't know. Like, if that's the case, what he's talking about, then that's different, obviously. But I don't think that's an issue right now.
Yeah, to be honest, for me, I think at the end of the day, with him starting, that will give him a bit of a fire in his belly. You know what I mean? That will reignite it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? For him to spur on. And yeah, let's face it, he has come out and said some things before. Like obviously he came out and said that he was depressed or he was mentally going through some stuff when his wife had the miscarriage. He also came out and said that he can't concentrate in games. He loses concentration. But at the end of the day, I'm sorry, but if the person who's replaced him is not performing up to scratch, bro, he's got to go. He has to go onto the bench, and then Ramsdale can come in. MDL here says, in my opinion, long passing Raya is great, but short to medium passes, his passes are always cooked, always overcooked.
Overcooked, yeah.
Always, and they really are. They don't even look confident sometimes when he passes like close range. He doesn't even look that confident when passing from
Yeah.
close range.
I mean, we saw his close range when he gave the ball to Cole Palmer. So, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I don't think it's that great. And you know, the thing you mentioned about when Ramsdale said, I think Ramsdale is an idiot for saying that when he spoke about, the concentration and sometimes when I'm playing at home. I don't think he should have said that because I think that probably put something in Arteta's head that, like, my keeper is admitting that when he plays at home, sometimes he doesn't have that like 100. I don't think those are exactly his words, but I do remember him saying that the energy from the fans sometimes like it riles him up and he gets affected by it. And I don't know. I don't think he should have ever. I don't think he should have ever said that. Like if it's something that's truly there, work on it and try to improve on it. But the moment you keep it out there in the public, guess what? Your own manager will start judging you based on that.
Yeah,
And yeah, I think that
yeah,
was a
no,
stupid thing from him to say.
100%, 100%. And just before we move on, he said Super Spurs came back and said he won't stay. He won't stay with the Euros coming. He'll go January if not first choice. So listen, if he's not first choice, he could well go. If the Euros are there and he wants to try and be that number one for England, we could see him go. And someone in England.
Yeah, I mean, look, but I think he might want to leave. I don't see us letting him go though, because I think we definitely could let him go in the summer, 100%. But I think because this season is a crucial season for us, I think Arteta's seriously trying to go for the title and he's trying to win it. I don't think he'll do anything that could sabotage it. And the fact is, if Raya gets injured or if he has like 2 or 3 games that he pulls like absolute howlers, I think Arteta will definitely want to put Ramsdale back instead of getting another keeper in Jan and playing him there. And look, if it comes to the Euros, let's be honest, bro. You don't need to leave to be playing in the Euros because Gareth Southgate has shown us that with players like Maguire and Calvin Phillips who barely play for United and City, they still come and they play. It doesn't matter. He calls you anyways. He's got Henderson has gone to freaking Saudi and is playing in the Saudi league, and he gets called and he started one of the last games. So if Ramsdale is worried about that, I don't. Even if Ramsdale goes and starts for Chelsea every single game, I don't see him starting in the Euros ahead of Pickford because Gareth Southgate has made it very clear for everyone that that's his favorite, and he's just gonna keep starting him because he was our goalkeeper of the. He was in the team of the season last year, and he still doesn't get started ahead of Pickford for England. So I don't see that changing.
Nah, you know what? Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But I think just quickly rounding off, we could just talk about the centre backs because, and not even just the centre backs, the whole back line. I think at times Ben White had a few problems, but majority of the time
Ocampos. Yeah.
Majority of the time he was good though. Ocampos was everywhere. Ocampos was going left, he was going down the right, he was going down the middle, trying every single angle to try and get in behind. Do you know what I mean? and I think he only got in like once or twice in behind on that left side. So other than that, I think listen, the defense had a very good day, a very good day, especially with the with Tomiyasu, man. Tomiyasu was spectacular, spectacular. In that
Yeah.
left back position, he showed like, listen, I've got what it takes, boss. That was his show for the boss to say like, listen, this is my position. I want to play here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wasn't able to do it on the left hand side, on the right hand side.
Right hand side. Yeah.
So let me try it on the left hand side. And even then, I think that left hand side suits him a bit more
Hmm.
because even if when we look at him for Japan, he plays as a left centre back.
Hmm.
I think it's a back three, and he
Hmm.
plays in the left centre back. So he's already used to playing that role for his national team. So if we can play him in that position more often, I think that can go good. But I saw people coming out on Mo's channel, and I saw they asked the question: Would you want to put Zinchenko as a left eight and Rice as a six? Let's say, for instance, Thomas Partey isn't here at the moment. Would you
Hmm.
put Rice as a six, Zinchenko as a left eight, and then leave Tomiyasu where he is in the left back position? Would you go ahead with that?
If Partey is not there, I think that's the best next thing, the next best thing, because I prefer that over having Jorginho there, because I think while Zinchenko is a liability defensively, but I think as a centre mid, that liability will become less apparent and less of a problem. Versus when he's a left back and the winger's running at us and that space is open and he just gets in. And I think that also, unfortunately for us, pulls Gabriel out of position a lot of times because he has to cover for Zinchenko. So yeah, I think as an 8, he would do a very good job. But he plays there for Ukraine, so it's not like it's a new position. He's very good on the ball, which is an important thing that we need there. He can get the ball from the centre backs and create our chances. And I think he's defensively decent enough to play that role, right? I don't think he's defensively good enough to play as a left back, but I think he's definitely defensively good enough to play as a centre mid, as an 8. Yeah, look, again, it's not the best option in the long run. If we're to eventually move past Thomas Partey, I definitely want to get us. I want to see us get a proper centre mid. But for this season, if Partey or Rice, one of them is not there, I definitely would think Zinchenko in the 8 is the next best move. Yeah, 100%. And look, to go back on the Tomiyasu thing that you mentioned, I don't think Tomiyasu never worked out on the right. I think it's just that he could never stay fit to keep that position for himself. Because a lot of times, if you remember when he first joined us 2 seasons ago, he was having amazing games. Like he was performing really well until that moment came when he got injured and I was out for 3 months. And then the season after that, which was last season, he did the same thing happened, just kept getting injured. But I think whenever he was fit and he had like a proper 6, 7, 8 games in a row, he's always performed well, right or left. But yeah, I want to see him continuing to play there ahead of Zinchenko. And I think that back four, I can't believe I'm going to say this because I usually don't make such big statements, especially like ones that could sound like they're reactionary. I think that back four of Tomiyasu, Saliba, Gabriel, and Ben White is top 3, top 5, I would say, in Europe right now. Right? Maybe top 3. Right? Because I think all 4 of them are so defensively solid, so defensively good in one-on-one situations, so defensively good in the air. They're all like obviously big and strong. They're all quick as well. Like I honestly don't see defense. I'm talking about defensively, by the way, here, not going forward. Defensively, I don't see any weaknesses in that back four. But obviously going forward, like the fullbacks are not like Alexander Arnold and Robertson and stuff. But for me that doesn't matter because I think we have other outlets to create chances and to score goals.
And I think you got to find a perfect balance as well.
Yeah.
Because when you make that statement, there's a perfect balance that needs to be found. So if the player can still go forward and offer a lot going forward, as well as being defensively stable, that's probably great. And I feel like that's what Ben White offers on that right side. He offers the overlapping runs, the 1-2s. He's good on the ball. I don't think Ben White's bad on the ball. I think he's
very good on the ball. Yeah.
And he can help defense, and he can handle the defensive work, as well as Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu looks better and better on the ball. So, and he listen, when he defends, he's like a freaking brick wall, man. He don't care. He don't let no one past him. Like even that one chance where the player tried to get the ball off of him when he was trying to leave the ball to go out, and he literally put his body in
Yeah.
front of the player and let the player kick his body instead of kicking the ball. Like it's crazy, man. It's crazy how like proper savage he is, man. He's I'm just so gassed to have him on my team. But
Yeah, 100%. And it's crazy how we're emulating City as well in that, because Pep did that last season. He saw that the fullback thing is not working when he sent Cancelo away, and he started playing with four centre backs, like essentially. And he's doing it again this season by playing Vardiol, Akanji, Diaz, and I think Stones in some games, or Kyle Walker. So hey, I think it'll work out for us as well.
yeah, no, 100%, 100%. And I think let's take a little a trip to the other side of the pitch. We'll start off with Saka because I think out of the three, he was probably the one that was not fully at their level.
Yeah,
Still
agreed.
trying to get in positions, but just wasn't at the top level that he normally is at. What were your thoughts on Saka yesterday? Because
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. If you remember the Chelsea game, his first half was abysmal, but he came out second half like guns blazing. He was doing well, taking on Kukureya, and coming for the ball a lot more, and obviously gave that incredible assist. I expected the same thing this game. When I saw him having such a poor first half, I thought, okay, second half is going to come again, just like Chelsea is going to take on his man. And I think he did okay. Like he did. I saw a stat. I don't know if this is true. Like Acuna had like 7 or 8 fouls. So clearly, like I think Saka troubled him a little bit. But I still didn't think it was one of his best games, man. Because for me, what I expect from my wingers, especially like Martinelli and Saka, because they've got the pace and the skills to take on their fullbacks. I just want to see you skin your fullback a lot more. Like, this is one thing that I really like about Doku of City, right? He gets the ball, looks at his fullback, and just goes at him and tries to take him on again and again and again and again. Especially when you've got the beating of him, you've got the pace, you've got the strength, you've got the technical skills, and I didn't see that. I didn't see Saka doing that enough. Yesterday, which for me will always be like my main criticism of Saka whenever he plays this game. These kind of games, I mean, like when you're playing against the big teams and you have a fullback that's old and slow compared to you, like I just want to see you skin him time and time and time again and just give him trouble, just to give him something else to think about. Like, don't make it so easy. Don't make him always think, okay, you're gonna play the 1-2 and run, or you're gonna get the ball and try to cut in inside. Like, you need to change your game a little bit. And yeah, I don't think it was one of his best games, but hey, look, it happens. I mean, I don't think any top player has like 10, 15 amazing games in a row. And I'm hoping he bounces back against Sheffield.
100%, bro. And for me, it's just important for us to look at Saka's performance. If we look at it in regards to what kind of positions he was covering, I think yesterday was a better game for him defensively because
Yeah.
they were. For me, I feel like he chose or he prioritized what needed to be prioritized. So he put right. He looked at what was happening. He was like, right, these guys are just going down the flanks. They are just attacking these flanks because they want to get crosses into El Nasiri. So for me, he was like, right, I need to just stay next to Ben White, and then I can help him out. Double team Acuna when he comes through. Double team Ocampos when he tries to come down that side. So we make sure that they don't get no crosses in, and we make sure that's why there was a few crosses that came in from the right from that left back
Sevilla's left side, yeah.
yeah, because they were just trying to get it in there, man, trying to get in there. That they were just crossing from far away, just from far away to try and get some kind of a ball in there for El Nasiri to get his head on. But yeah, listen, at the end of the day, attacking wise, I wouldn't say it was a great game from him, but defensively, on point. He made a lot of tackles and was definitely trying to and still managed to get through on goal at times. So fair enough.
Yeah.
But I think it was more of a defensive performance for him that we can look at and be like, okay, fair enough, that's good. Martinelli, because I want to get to the man of the match at the end because he was just sick. He was just wicked. But Martinelli, for me, I think I'll start off with that. I think Martinelli, for me, he just looked like he was ready. He looked like he wanted to get on the ball every single time. He looked like
Yeah.
he was ready to just receive the ball, bang, give it to me, let me go on a run. Let me just run. Yeah. I think for me, Martinelli needs to be a bit more clinical, like I said before. He needs to take his chances a bit more, because he gets in such good positions every time. And there's even sometimes where he's just outside the box here, and I'm like, bro, just lace it, bro. Put your foot through it. Try and have a shot at goal. And he doesn't try it. He tries to get closer to the goal and closer to the goal. I think overall it was a good game from him. Either way. That's just me nitpicking and trying to focus on the smaller things. But
Yeah.
overall, his performance was really good. He was quick on the ball. His passing was good. 1-2s between him, Tomiyasu, and even Declan Rice getting involved there. And for me, I just like, bro, I'm just so gassed, like I said, man, that I can have these players on my team and I can just speak about them like this. And I'm sitting here still nitpicking on the smaller things. But overall, their main performances are good. Do you know what I mean? What are your thoughts on Martinelli?
Yeah, I mean, last time I told you, I think he's one of our best finishers in the team, and he had to let me down with that first miss that he had when he was 101. But luckily, he made up for it. Um, Look, I mean, I think he had a decent game. Obviously, it was his first ever Champions League game, so I guess he was probably hungry for it. He wanted to start with a bang, because he saw Saka started with a bang against PSV, and the rest of the guys did. And plus, we lost to Lens, so we needed him to take on Jesus Navas as much as possible, try to make those runs. And I've seen him make those runs a lot. The one where he scored the goal for. I've seen him make a lot of these runs a lot of times. I remember last season against Aston Villa. He had that against Everton as well. Not Everton, sorry. Was it Leicester? I think Leicester City, when Trossard gave him that back heel and stuff. So, look, he has a lot of I think a lot of weapons in his arsenal. I just want to see him use them a lot more. For example, the goal that Jesus scored. I know we're going to speak about Jesus in a minute. I think that's something that Martinelli can do on a regular. Right, because he has the pace and the quick change of direction and stuff to take on his man. And that's exactly what Jesus did. And I just want to see him like do that kind of cut in from the left and take a shot from inside the box, from outside the box, and just like be a lot more brave in trying. Just exactly what I said for Saka. Just be a lot more brave in taking on your fullback, especially when you know you've got the beating of him. Right. Last season, I remember like there was a lot of incidents where he would like take on the fullback and just cross it with his left. And I haven't seen him do it enough this season. He tries to go and then he cuts it back on the right and then he's stuck and then he just passes to Tomiyasu and it doesn't sometimes go anywhere. Obviously, I know that the format and the shape has changed because he doesn't have Zinchenko. He doesn't have because I think Zinchenko playing with him on that side did probably assist him a lot, but I don't know. I think he still needs to be taking on his man more and just doing these kind of cut-ins and shooting because Jesus demonstrated, bro. Jesus showed that, hey, when you have that gap and you're brave enough to try it, it works sometimes, right? And I think Martinelli has that in him. So, but yeah, look, overall good game from him, and I think defensively he did well too, which is very important in these kind of games away from home. So yeah, man, long may it continue, and I hope he just stays injury free because a lot of times this guy, in my opinion, when we play against the big teams, he's one of our most important players. Like for me, even more important than Saka, more important than Odegaard and all. And if we can somehow keep him fit for majority of the season, I think he's gonna have a stellar season.
100%. And I think without further ado, we can get to the man of the match. I think possibly one of the best players on the pitch. If not
Kai
the best player
Havertz,
on the
bro.
pitch.
Kai Havertz.
Exactly. And what did I say to you about Kai Havertz? What did I say to you? I'd start him.
Bro,
I'd
you told me
started him.
Nketiah first. That was a scary prospect, but I get you.
I shut off. I'm lucky that the manager didn't listen to me about starting. What's his name? Kai
Nketiah.
Havertz.
Oh, Kai Havertz.
Not
Yeah.
even Nketiah, bro. Kai Havertz, because bro,
Yeah.
he started Gabriel Jesus, and Gabriel Jesus had the game of his life. He was just enjoying himself out there, just enjoying himself. I feel like he was just For me, the ball was sticking to his feet, was like glue, and I couldn't be more happy with his performance. Just his link up play. He was trying to link the ball up with Martinelli. Him and Martinelli just have a special connection, man. I don't know whether it's the Brazilian connection, but they just have this special connection with each other, man. They could just find each other every time. So for me, that's why I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed to have that, bro. Because the fact that these guys, that's the main thing why I always say Jesus makes up for not scoring as many chances as he does, because he has moments where he can just bring out better in his teammates. You know what I mean? He can bring out a better side in his of his teammates, a more creative side in him as well, and he can unlock Martinelli at times. So for me, it's just, listen, without it goes without question, like he was my man of the match. But we will speak about one more player who I think was very close to being man of the match. But for me, he was man of the match. For me, he's man of the match. What's your thoughts on him, man?
Yeah, look, I completely 100% agree with you. I think he's definitely my man of the match as well. I'm glad he did start. And look, this is exactly what I've been saying before. I understand getting a striker would definitely help us. But I think Jesus is good enough to lead the line for us. And people will criticize him for his conversion rates and sometimes missing chances. But I think, I've said this before and I'll keep reiterating it. I think without Jesus, Saka doesn't get 14 goals last season. Martinelli doesn't get 15 goals last season in the Premier League, because what he does for us is so important. I think the way we play with our front three, I think Jesus gives us what Firmino was giving Liverpool when they were winning the league and the Champions League and stuff, because he's able to drop back, receive the ball, take on his guy, create chances, let Martinelli and Saka make those runs through. That assist he gave, right? Two amazing things that he did that was so impressive, which are unique to Jesus in our team, is, well, Trossard does that a little as well, is that he gets the ball in that position, and a lot of players will try to just play it first time to the right or something. He cuts in so well, dummies the hell out of the defender, right? I think it was Ramos, I can't remember who it was. And then the moment he looks up and sees Martinelli running, doesn't wait, releases the ball instantly. And that's something that not a lot of players in our team can do, because he's got that ability to think quick on his feet and just change his position and try some of these dribbling skills. But yeah, man, look, 3 goals in the Champions League from 3 games, 3 goals and an assist now, in fact. So for people saying that we need a striker, okay, fair enough. I would definitely want to take a striker over Nketiah. But in my opinion, I think Jesus is good enough to lead the line for Arsenal in a title challenging and a title winning season as well. Like because people say, can you win the title without Jesus? We don't think so. I think we can win the title with Jesus up front. I don't think that's the issue. The only problem is obviously Jesus.
He's not a striker though. For me, he's a forward. I've said this.
Yeah,
I've said this so many times.
Yeah.
Because that's why people sit there and these rival fans don't get it. Like, he's not a striker. He's not, just because he wears the number 9 shirt.
Yeah, he's not a Haaland and all. Yeah,
exactly. Doesn't mean he's just going to be a goal machine. He's a forward. He likes to bring players into the game as well. Exactly. Trying to get his own piece of the pie as well. But he definitely likes to, and I think for me the goals. Listen, the Martinelli goal in itself was cheeky as hell. But his goal, that second goal, and the way he just curled it in, bro. I was just like, sorry. Listen, I was like, this is what I've been waiting for. This is the Gabriel Jesus I've been waiting for, yeah? That curl, yeah? It's so hard to score from that angle, because the goalkeeper is there on that side like that, waiting for it. So for you to get it just right, to go over him and dip into the goal, it was perfect. He could not hit it sweeter. Hit it sweeter, man, to be honest. In my opinion.
And this is why I don't like entertaining these conversations about, oh, maybe we should play him on the right, rest Saka, maybe we should play him on the left sometimes and start another striker. I don't think he does the same damage when he plays on the wings, because when you play him as a forward, right, between Saka and Martinelli, he has that freedom to drop deep and do damage. He has the freedom to go left and switch with Martinelli. He can even go right if he wants. It gives him that flexibility. And because he's so good at keeping the ball under pressure, because he's so good at dribbling in tight spaces and creating chances and creating openings for himself and others, playing him there as a striker, as a forward, I think gives us a lot more opportunities and gives us a lot more creativity there. And I'm going to ask you this, right? This is a very controversial opinion, which a lot of people will laugh at, but obviously Odegaard has been struggling a lot last few games, and I think
I know exactly what
again,
you're gonna say.
yeah, I think given again, I'm always going to go back to this Arteta's mantra of competition and stuff. I love Odegaard, and I 100% in a season where we're going to try to challenge for the league, he should be starting for us in majority of our Premier League games. But I don't think it'll affect him or harm him in a way where if we drop him to the bench, right, just for 1 or 2 games so that he can get that rhythm back and maybe take a breather as well if needed. Do you think it makes sense to play Jesus there? Not as an 8, because I know a lot of times Odegaard plays as an 8, but maybe like have a striker.
Just
I
behind the
don't know.
striker.
There you go. That's it. So maybe
Just
like,
behind the
I don't know,
striker, yeah.
Havertz up front maybe, and then Jesus just behind him.
I think that would work. And
Yeah.
I can't lie, yeah. I don't even think Nketiah can go there. I feel like you could imagine if you have, let's say for instance we have obviously Saka and Martinelli in the left wing and right wing, and then we put maybe a Kai Havertz in there. Or actually no, not even Kai Havertz. Imagine if we put Trossard as a striker and then we play
And Jesus
just
behind
him.
Yeah, yeah.
That could work because
It's extremely fluid.
You got Trossard there to do the final for the final shot, and he's very clinical, and you got Gabriel Jesus who can do more of the playmaking and facilitating for the attackers. So I feel like that could be something that could be tried out. We could try that out, and that could possibly work very well.
Yeah, look, I love it. I think Trossard, Jesus, Martinelli, and Saka as a front four would be amazing. And the best part is it's very fluid. Trossard can go to the right. He can switch with Jesus as well in the middle. They all have amazing work rate. So if Jesus is playing as a 10 or behind a striker, he's going to give you that work rate. He's going to come back. He's going to defend. So he's not going to you're not going to lose something defensively. I see Arteta trying it in maybe 1 or 2 games this season, but I do see him trying it with Havertz, not with Trossard, because I think he likes to have Trossard as an option to replace Martinelli in case Martinelli's not having his best game, and okay, I can maybe switch Martinelli, bring Trossard, who gives us something different. Yesterday he did it with Saka. He obviously took out Saka and brought Trossard. I don't think he would start Trossard and Jesus along with Martinelli and Saka, just because I feel like he would want Martinelli or Trossard to be an option coming off the bench, change the game if needed. But with Kai Havertz, I definitely think he could. I think with Kai Havertz it might work. Work.
But just obviously because
just not in Nketiah though.
With that one, yeah, I don't think Nketiah can really get in there. To be honest, for me. I love the kid, man. He's Hairland, you know what I mean? It's great, but bro, at the top level, he's just not it. I feel like he would. I've said this so many times, and I'll say it again. I feel like Nketiah would score so many goals if he played at a team like Crystal Palace,
West Ham,
West Ham. You know what I mean? Just one of those teams. He'd score so many goals. But just at the top level, I don't think he's that, and I don't think he suits our system. He doesn't suit our system, and I don't understand why. If we're gonna get rid of Tierney because he doesn't suit our system, why are we still persisting with Nketiah?
Yeah, makes no sense.
I don't know whether they're waiting to get Tony in, or whoever they get in, Osimhen or whoever. But
We had that debate, yeah. So we leave that.
I'm just remembering thinking back to that debate. That was a funny night.
That was
But
amazing. Yeah.
I don't know whether he is persistent with him until he gets his striker or not.
Mm.
But for me, at the end of the day, I really hope we can try that, just because, God forbid, touch wood, if Erdegaard gets injured.
Yeah.
If there is an altercation where Erdegaard gets injured, I'm sorry, but for me, I don't think Fabio Vieira is built for that role, to
Me
play
neither.
behind the striker. I don't think he is. He's not physical enough, and he's not quick enough with his feet. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I wouldn't want to see him playing that role. But
Yeah.
I think, just moving on to the last point before we come off, give me your thoughts on Declan Rice's performance, because he was the one who was just missed out on the man of the match for me.
Yeah, look, they say 70% of the earth is covered by water. I think 30% is covered by Declan Rice. This guy is everywhere, bro. Yesterday, he was on steroids. They need to stop him at the airport, do a quick drug test before he leaves, because they need to make sure that this guy is not smuggling any steroids from Spain, because my man was everywhere, bro. The only reason I'll give it to Gabriel Jesus as man of the match is because what Gabriel Jesus did won us the game in terms of like the goals, right? Because we know scoring goals is one of the hardest things to do in football. But Declan Rice, bro, like he is making it difficult to not give him man of the match every single game, because it's not just his defensive work. Like we know from his last few years at West Ham and even the first few games we've seen him at Arsenal, like defensively he's amazing. Like when he tackles to win the ball, not just to dispossess the player. He tackles to actually win the ball and initiate a new attack. But yesterday, even on the ball, the guy was on something else, man. Like the couple of runs.
That run? Did
That
you see
run
that one
was
run?
mad.
This guy looked like a majestic lion, bro. Man's just running, bro. I was like, what?
I immediately remembered he did it against us. I think either last season or the season before, where he got the ball and ran the length of the pitch as well, past our midfield. And man, he's just a different monster, bro.
But we
and
knew
for
he
anyone,
got that in his locker.
100%. No, I agree with you 100%. And this is why anyone who said, oh, he can play as an 8, he's not a Chaka replacement, oh, I'm sorry, you're an idiot. The guy can 100%. If we play him as an 8 for a whole season, he's 1,000,000% an upgrade over Chaka, right? He's way better defensively than Chaka. I think he's better on the ball in terms of keeping the ball, shielding it from players, moving the ball, and progressing it forward. I think Chaka is an elite passer, and I'll probably say Chaka is a better passer than Declan Rice, but I think Declan Rice can get there as well. So if we have our entire lineup available, Declan Rice can be a world-class 8. I think he's already very close to being a world-class 6, but I think even as an 8, he can be a top player as an 8, man. But what a beast, man. Honestly, one of the signings of the season.
The thing is, yeah, I think if you look at his heat map, his heat map is in a lot of defensive positions, but like we know, he can still do these mad runs where he just runs towards the goal. And he done it against, what was the goal? I think he done it in the Europa Conference, wasn't it? No, it was in the Premier League, wasn't it? When he ran the whole length of the pitch and scored. I think it was in the Europa League, or was it in the... I think it might have been Europa League.
It definitely wasn't the Europa League. It probably was the Conference League, no? From last season?
No, I think it might have been the Europa League, bro.
Okay.
The Europa League.
Okay.
Cheers.
I can't remember it. I'm not sure.
But he literally ran the full length of the pitch, bro. The full length of the pitch and scored in the end as well. So, bro, it's crazy. By the way, PSG have just scored. They scored.
Yeah, I saw they were 1-0 up.
Yeah, 0-0 still at St James's Park. But yeah, listen. At the end of the day, 3 points. It looks like we may top our group. Now all we need to do is beat Sevilla.
Sevilla. Yeah.
And then once we beat them at home, I think we've topped this group. I think we topped this group. We're on our way to the round of 16.
Yeah, look, I
I
mean,
mean,
PSV play at home against Lens in the next game. So if we beat Sevilla and PSV beats Lens, basically we would be on 9 points. Sevilla would be, I think, on 2. Um, Lens would stay on 5, and PSV would be on 5, if I'm not wrong. So we would be 4 points clear of whoever is second, right? And even if PSV and Lens draw, we're still like, I think, 3 points clear of Lens, and we have them coming to our ground in the last game. So, yeah, man, we've got to win against Sevilla, and if we do that, I think we will, because I don't think Sevilla is good away from home. That puts us in a comfortable position, bro. The only thing is, I just don't want to like. I'm not one of these guys who's gonna be like, oh, get me anyone in the Champions League. We should be able to face anyone. I don't give a shit. Give me the easiest possible team in the round of 16. So for us to have that, we need to top our group first.
yeah, 100%, 100%. And I think just going into it, bro, I think we could top our group, and that would be the best thing forward. And even in this competition, I want to win this one. If we can somehow get to it and win it, if we can, I know we're taking it a game at a time. I'm not stupid, but if we could actually win the Champions League, it would mean more, because I think next year they're doing the whole new thing with more teams in it and stuff.
Disgusting.
So there's just more teams in it, but we should definitely top our group, and I think if we win this one, especially if we get to the final, I would back us heavily, because we're at Wembley. Because it's at Wembley this year. So
depends who the final is against.
Exactly.
If the final is against Man City, I mean, the Wembley doesn't have an advantage in him. Well, we are really good at Wembley though, but
Nah, listen. I played them in the Community Shield, man.
it's not the same. It's not the same.
I'll play Havertz up there again, man. I'll play Havertz again. We are gonna have Timber. I'm Timber. He's coming back.
Oh, we need him, man. That March period, 100% we'll need him. But look, I think, I don't know. I don't see any scenario where we win the Champions League, because I think winning the Champions League is so much harder, in my opinion, than winning the league, because there's a lot of things, like you're facing against the best teams in Europe, and it's knockout. Like in the league, right? You can have one or two, like you can have a couple of bad games and you still win the league. In the Champions League, come knockout, you can't slip even for a minute, because that could cost you the entire. Remember Man City 2 seasons ago? I mean, they were like I think they were 2-1. They were leading obviously against Madrid in the semi-finals, winning 1-0 when Mahrez scored, and they're like, oh, that's it, it's done. 2 minutes left. A little lapse of concentration. Rodrigo scores again a minute later. That's it, done. The whole Champions League thing changed.
Exactly, 100%. And MDL, just before we cut off, MDL, Timber is back late January. Most likely February, because I don't think they'll rush him in straight away. Listen, at the end of the day, I think he teared his MCL, wasn't it? It wasn't his ACL. I think it was
maybe
ACL.
I thought it was ACL. Okay, I guess
it might be ACL. It might be. I'm not sure. All of the time. I get them mixed up. But I because he tore it, I think he'll come back maybe early February. But he is scheduled to come back late January.
Yeah, I think late January would be training, but I think after training they'll probably take 2 to 3 weeks to put him in the game.
He's already walking right now. He's already walking without crutches. He was off crutches so fast, bro. So fast. So the fact that he could be playing as early as late January, early February, bro, that's crazy. Crazy, given the time scale that we had when he first got the injury. We heard he won't playing again this season. You won't see him again. So just forget about it. You'll see Timber as a new signing next season. Right. So I'm gassed, man. I'm gassed to see. And then he said, wow, that's crazy considering we heard he won't be back until next season. Good for him, man. 100%. So gassed, man. MDL, man. You're the guy in your display picture. Yeah. You went past the keeper and scored. I know that you were cheering, bro. I know that you were dancing in your living room, bro. I was just sitting there dancing, bro. I know what MDL was, bro. He was in my watch along. He was coming. He was like, "Oh my god, look what's happening." I was like, "Yeah, bro. It's crazy, man. It's crazy." But listen, Ashraf, big up to you, my bro, for coming through.
My brother.
And joining me
Big
for,
up,
the,
man.
for the match reaction. Guys, make sure to smash that damn like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And make sure to hit the bell notification so you're notified every time we make a video. I will catch you guys on the next one. See you guys later. Take care.